Imagine embarking on an unforgettable journey through the heart of Italy, where every turn is a new treasure and every moment is filled with beauty and culture. You start your adventure in Rome, the eternal city. Next, you venture into the rolling hills of Tuscany, where the air is perfumed with the scent of vineyards and olive grove. The journey continues to Venice, the floating city of canals and gondolas, after Five Earth and Milan. But your Italian adventure doesn't end on land. It's about to get even more extraordinary. A magical journey through Italy, topped off with a house music festival on Costa Cruise. Dance under the stars, relax in style, and discover exclusive performances on deck, all while sailing to some of the most beautiful destinations. There are 3 packages to choose from. Sailing dates are from September 24th through the 28th, 2025. Book yours now at festivaloncruise.com.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heidi's House, episode 8. And I'm your host, Queen Bee Heidi B. And am I happy or what to have as our featured guest, straight from South Africa, South Africa's own house music superstar, J Maloe. He is an artist, music producer, DJ, promoter, event organizer, and I'm glad to also call him my friend, with whom I have had an honor to do several collaborations during my music journey. So, are you ready to hear more about J Maloe's house story? Then let's go. So here he is, straight from South Africa, J Maloe. Woohoo! Welcome to
Heyo,
Heidi's
heyo, heyo.
house.
Yeah.
How
Thank you
are
so
you
much.
doing?
I'm good, Heidi. How are you doing? Long time
I'm
no chat, by the way.
Yes, long time no chat, and I'm feeling super, super, super good now that we have a chance to, first of all, see and talk after a long while, and then, of course, that you are, our featured guest in the Heidi's House podcast episode 8. So I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wiping,
No, I'm
wiping.
also excited. I'm so excited. I've been excited for some weeks, so I'm really excited for this.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. So, since you are our featured guest, I'm gonna ask you a series of some questions, and then at the end, I'm gonna play a mini mix that includes some of your releases. So let's start with the first question, if we may. So, for
Yeah.
those people that might not be familiar with you and your artist profile, could you tell us a little bit who is J Maloe?
All right. J stands for Jeff. Maloka is derived from my first name, Ramatlo. So that is a fuse of a name kind of thing, just something that I just fused together. I'm a producer, DJ from South Africa, Johannesburg to be precise. I've been producing. The first production I made was in 2003, some time ago. That was the first time I ever laid eyes on anything to do with music. And funny enough, the first thing that I ever saw was Tractor. There was this program called Tractor, which was like a DJ sort of program. So that's the first thing I saw. I couldn't use it at all. I didn't know how to use it. So then a friend of mine introduced me to, back then it was called Fruity Loops 3. And
Mm.
then yeah, that's just, I just love music. I just happen to love music. I engaged with music same time. And yeah, yeah, so that was how it all began.
Beautiful.
And then from there, yeah, I just started making music, and then it's been what, 20 years, 21 this year.
Oh my,
um
oh my, yeah, 21 years. Can you imagine?
yeah, it's been quite some time. So yeah, basically, yeah, I'm a house producer. Oh yes, and I focus on Afro house. I love Afro house with my whole heart. But I do branch off into soulful here and there. If you listen to some of our stuff as well, there's soulful in there, and there's a little bit of commercial, not too much, because I'm just a spiritual person. I love soul, I love spirituality, and yeah, that's who I am in a nutshell. I'm a music lover. That's what you get.
Yes, and very, very amazing and talented one. Music producer, artist, DJ. You have many, many, many skills in when it comes to the music. Of course, we'll find out a little bit more while we continue with this interview. What kind of stuff you have been involved and are involved currently. But
Yeah.
since this is a house music podcast, so what would you say, Jay? What originally got you to house music? Why house?
Um, as I said, starting off with Tractor and so forth, back in 2003, house was the prominent sound, and the other prominent sound was hip hop, and I'm not a hip hop kind of guy. So I had to sort of fit into a type of sound. I think music is a global language, and everybody fits into a specific sound. Everybody, even people who don't produce, like normal people themselves, fit into a different kind of sound. So I found myself fitting into house because it just had a culture that I could resonate with. You know what I mean? So I think that I was just drawn closer to house music. Not for any specific reason of how it really sounds, but yeah, I just felt closer to it, and more than the other genres. There were other genres. There was pop. You know what I mean? But I don't know. House for me was um, a calling, if I can
Yeah,
call it that.
yeah, yeah. I think that works very well, that description. All right. There's something with the connection, so I'm gonna just, cut that part. No worries. So the calling fits very well to that what you just described. Now let's continue to the next question. What kind of artists have inspired you the most?
To inspire me, honestly, looking at my time and where I became, when I started from, there's none other than Black Coffee, because I
Mm,
mean he's playing, producing the exact sound I was making. If you listen to my production from the early days, when I started off, it was before it was actually called Afro. There used to be this thing called tribal house music. So from that era of tribal house, that's where I come from. And the guy that was making tribal house, there was a few of them, but I mean the main one was Black Coffee, and
yeah,
at that time also Tulo the song. In fact, Tulo the song might have been more prominent than Black Coffee back in the early 2005, 6, 7, those years. So between Tulo the song and Black Coffee, I was just like, these are the guys I'm looking up to.
yeah.
And yeah, and that's those are my role models. Actually, I'll say the two, if I'm allowed to say two.
Yes, yes, and that is something that I can actually hear in your productions when I listen
Mm,
listen to your tracks in general. That the influence is there, but still, it is J Maloe sound. You have your distinctive
yeah.
sound.
No, I definitely have my own sound, but if you listen, especially prior to 2010, my sound was, strictly tribal African sounds, lots of drums. I've moved away from drums a bit, but you can still hear them in some of the songs. But I used to have so much drum programming in the songs because I was just a tribal. I was like a tribalist house kind of guy, and
Yeah.
back then you had those guys making those guys. There's a lot I can mention, a lot of guys making the same sound around it, but the prominent guys, the guys in the front leading the pack, was of course Tula the Song and Black Coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now we talk about house, and you are really deeply in Afro house. But if you think about the whole genre of house in general, I gave a pre-question to you to think what would be your top three house tracks. So what have you picked?
All right. First things first, it would be Black Coffee Superman. I don't know if you want me to tell you the reason, but I'm going to anyway. The
Yeah, yeah,
reason
definitely.
Yeah, the reason I go with Superman is not only because it's a global smash. It's like a global hit. Like that song is loved everywhere, but it's timeless. So my top three are, for me, timeless. You might agree, some people might agree, some not, but Superman is definitely timeless for me. So for me, that is like my number one song all time. And then the second song that I love the most is Black Motion Rainbow. Also timeless, beautifully written. Now these are older songs, because obviously it's some of the songs that carried me throughout my journey as an Afro house artist. So those are the songs I can label. I have nothing of today, but these are songs released 2008 and up like that. And then the last song will be from Da Capo, and that'll be In Need. I picked this song because by the time that song was released, um, I was really, gaining my momentum in this whole music production. And he's also one of the guys. He was going to be my third guy that I was going to say that I really look up to him as well. Although we are peers, he's the same age as me and everything like that. And he started around the same time I started, but his journey took a beautiful turn. And obviously, he was playing with Black Coffee in Ibiza and all of that. So that's the third track that um, I pick as my top three.
Yeah,
And they're all
beautiful.
Afro. Yeah.
Yes, and I know that's a tough, thing to decide since there's so much beautiful, amazing music around there. But people watching this, if you haven't heard those tracks, check them out. Beautiful, good stuff, inspiring stuff.
Yeah.
Now, then I continue to the next question, which I have noticed that it's a little bit tricky for all of my guests who have interviewed so far. I'm gonna ask it anyway, and I would like you to think out of your own productions. Is there one particular track that somehow stands out, and why?
Okay. Whew.
I
Good
know.
one.
That's
Um,
great.
and I'm actually hoping we play it. If we don't, then I think people can check it out. The one song that really resonates with my soul is the collab I did with you. Why me?
Oh,
Um, yeah,
thank you.
that song, the message. I feel like it came at a time in our lives where we had this big question mark above our heads.
Yeah,
And if you remember, Heidi, when we did that collabo, we weren't at the greatest of times. So we there was this question, but why me? And for me, the production, listening to all the songs that I've made, it's different. So it's obviously soulful house, but
yeah,
the keys, the drumming, everything was just different to what I normally do.
Mhm.
And I feel like you came on that song and you literally gave that song life, you know.
Oh,
And the question was, why me? You know. And for me, that's one song that has been different. Um, in all songs. So all the songs that I've made, I can listen to and I can hear what I'm doing, and I can. But when it came to why me, I just let go. I let loose,
okay.
and it will always remain that special, different song.
I have to agree that it is also a special song for me, and it did come out during the challenging times. We were, I remember during the lockdown and everything, we were keeping the spirit high in that sense that we just kept on working and creating new songs. I think Why Me came just before that. It was just before, if I remember correctly, but it was a great collaboration, and we just kept that good spirit and did beautiful things together during that time. So it also stands out to me, and it is gonna be played in a mini mix as well. So
You
happy
see,
that you
you
mentioned.
see,
Yeah. Yes.
it's like I
Mm.
knew this.
Yeah. We always find the common frequency, and easily we always collaborated very easily. So that has been always so amazing and pleasurable to me as well. All right. So let's continue to our next question. If you consider your musical journey, what would you say that are your highlight moments so far?
Well, definitely, off the top of my head, will be my one of my songs that I shot a music video for being number one on MTV. So, what happened is we had the song that we made with the guys. Obviously, I was the lead producer there, and we submitted it to South African radio. Then it started moving, it got high rotation, things were going so well. And then we decided then to shoot a music video. We shot a
Mhm.
music video, and I wasn't so amped about it. Well, I was very happy that there's a music video, but I didn't know where it could, end up. And then boom, the next thing, it was number one on MTV within a week. It didn't last too long on MTV number one, but I was happy to be number one. I think it was for 2 days, and that was the highlight of my career. I never ever thought I'd even make top 10. It all started with a top 10. It was number 10, and I was like, what? The
Yeah,
following day, not even later on in the night, it was like number 7. The following day it was like number 3, and I'm like, what? This could happen. And then boom, it hit number 1. And I think that's when I
amazing.
realized that I might have something here. I might have something, for a lifetime. I might have a sound that people actually want to hear. And that's when
Absolutely.
I just pushed and I kept on pushing. Yeah.
All right.
So that
That's
was
that's amazing moment, and I do remember when it was really rising there on the chart, and the track is amazing. It's amazing. Absolutely. So people check it out. Actually, it will be also played in the mini mix after our interview part. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
happy to play it. All right. Then I would like to ask a following question. Again, maybe not so easy, but still, what would you say? What do you think is your personal contribution to house music community with your music and with your works? Or we can phrase it, what kind of message you want to convey?
Yeah, no, thanks. Good question. To be honest, I think, as I said earlier, in the beginning, my music is more spiritual, and it's touching, and it always has a nice message. But overall, I think with one of the songs that you and I have actually collaborated on. If you remember, Unity.
Yeah.
I strive to unite people through music. The music I make has been over the years a type of music where people get together, and whenever there's a get together they'll be playing my music. And there was actually a guy called Siga, and he used to play my music in all his mixes. He does these
Yeah.
mixes. Yeah, you remember him. So he used to put my music in there. And for me, it made sense that my music unites people. So it made sense when we made that Unity song. So I think the greatest message that I've been delivering in my music is unity. People being united together. Besides the song, all the songs have a positive message in it. I'm always trying to promote positivity more than anything. And
Yeah.
I think the greatest thing I've contributed myself is unity amongst people, individuals of different races, cultures, ethnicities, and all of that. I've managed to somehow fuse them together. Because I had people of different kind of races listening to this music. I never
Yeah.
focused my music on a certain type of race or anything like that. I always made sure that I speak to the humans and hence the
True.
humanity. Yeah.
And I think
So
that's why we connected also so well, because we share that message: peace,
exactly.
love, unity, and house music. Woohoo!
Exactly. Exactly. And that's also one of my favorite songs, by the way, that I've ever made. Unity, I bump it every now and then. It has a beautiful message, and yeah, I think that song was just, yeah, it was just a
Yeah,
good song. It was
it was
beautiful,
nice,
beautiful
nice,
song.
nice song, and I'm gonna include that to the mini mix as well,
Lovely,
together with
lovely.
Heidi. Yeah, we did so many that, to be honest, it's very hard to pick, because I was also thinking New Life that was doing really great, all the remixes as
Yes.
well doing amazing, and then we had our chart topping Want You to Stay, and we had Hypnotize. We
Yeah.
had so many tracks, but people, even if they are not included to the mini mix, you can go and check them out.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
did a lot of good stuff
There's
with J Maloe.
nice songs. There's some nice songs we have out there.
Yeah. So, and now the last question is, what are your current projects? What is J Maloe currently involved with?
All right. So obviously, I've had a bit of a break, for personal reasons. I've got a new baby and all of that, and so I decided to take a little break. But I've got our project coming up. As I told
Yeah.
you, yeah, yeah. So I'll be remaking the beat on that. I've got a few collabs that I have to do. I've got albums I have to do. Before I went on a little personal break, I had so many people hit me up on collaborations and working and helping out. Because I also, if you didn't know, I also help out with albums. I help out other people with production, their own personal work, even though I may not be on the title and everything, but I'm on the sleeve and all of that. So I do projects that belong to other people as well. I assist in production and all of that. So I have that resuming as of this year, which is, I think it's great timing, with the podcast and everything, and our new single, obviously, that's gonna come up. Yeah, so I'll be working on that. So the first thing I'm gonna do when I hit the studio is our collab.
Yeah,
that's the
we
that's the
are.
first.
That's the first thing, and we are both so excited about it. So anybody who has been listening to our music, or is maybe interested to hear about our new things, so we have a new track titled Until, coming
Yeah,
soon during this spring. It's our collaboration After a While, a beautiful track. And
yeah,
Jay, of course, you've been, like you mentioned here, supporting other artists. You organize also events.
Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit about that, the DJing part
All right.
also?
So, all right. Let me just start by supporting other artists. So, I had a agency that I started. An agency initially. I started it to push myself and upcoming artists, and anybody who needs a platform that they can't reach. So I started this agency, and then I started all of a sudden working with some prominent artists in South Africa, and I ended up working with the likes of Heavy K. I was actually managing him for a while, about a year, and I also worked with the likes of Soul Matrix, who's on the piano side. I'm a piano that is, and it exposed me to so much of the music world in South Africa. I ended up then deciding to branch into events as well, and then I
Yes,
just started to because now these guys are also organizing events, and once you're so um, interested in the mainstream of music, you get to understand that there's a variety of business. So it's not just the production and the creativity, the craft. There's also business to it. You can
yeah, absolutely.
do
Now it's cutting a little bit.
events, you can do your own events around music that you can do. So then, yeah, in yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's cut in the middle, so you need to maybe repeat
Yeah,
something about company.
yeah. So I obviously then, you know, branched into events and making events and all of that because I was so exposed to the music business, and these guys that I was now collaborating with and managing and assisting and all of that, they showed me a different side of music. And
Yeah,
there's the business side. As I said, you can do a podcast, you can make an event, you can do so much with music. It's not just limited to production, you
yeah.
know. So yeah, that's how I got into this whole scene of doing different things on the music scene.
Have you been DJing lately?
I actually paused that a bit, obviously because of family and all of that, and with my family growing and all of that, I decided to pause it because that is a nighttime activity,
Yeah. Yes.
So obviously, but as I said, I've been DJing from the early 2000s. So DJing is in my blood, and I paused it a
Yes.
bit. But actually, one of my friends said today, listen, we need you back. You need to come back. You're talented, and you need to keep pushing. And I respected that. And yeah, I'm back soon.
Yes, 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 yes. We look forward to that. All right, now it's time to continue soon to the mini mix part. And thank you for this wonderful interview. And I'm again so grateful that we had a chance to do this. And
Yeah.
just and we are so excited about our coming collaboration and release. So people stay tuned. It will be posted more, more information will be posted later during the spring. And one more thing, if somebody is now interested to find out more about you and your artistry, an artist profile, where can they find you in social media? So where can they find you in social media?
All right, social media on Instagram. All right, yeah. So social media, Instagram is still J underscore Maloe, which is Maloe. On
Yeah.
Facebook, it's J space Maloe. That's my page. I am active on my page and on my account. And then, unfortunately, I don't have any Twitter, but I do have a yeah, I do have a TikTok that I recently opened because that's like the new in thing. So
Yeah.
that's also there. It's JEFF space MALOE. So it's J Maloe across all boards on YouTube. It's still J Maloe on Apple Music, Spotify. I'm there. All my releases are there. Nothing is down. Anything from the early 2000s is still there.
Yeah.
So yeah, my music is all over the show.
Check out his beautiful tracks, people. Amazing, amazing J Maloe, South Africa's own Afro House superstar that I am so grateful to be able to call my collaborator and my friend. So thank you again. And I'm sending you lots of love to you and your family. And again, thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, Heidi. Yeah, you know, I'm always excited to do anything with you. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing. It's a great platform. It's a great show, and I really wish the best for you and for us and for myself. I hope this new year brings so much for us. And yeah, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Heidi.
Most welcome. All right, let's continue to listen all of those tracks that were mentioned in this interview. So are you ready? Let's
I am.
go. Let's go. Bye bye.